Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You want to go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Autobots and Decepticons, Witwickies of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me I have my co-host. Sit. Got myself here a Mr. J, recent college graduate, previous experience next to zero, yet he has a recommendation letter from our board. WTF to that.
I know someone on your board?
Here's the deal. You know who we are. Binging Barbie, global leader in Barbie movie podcasts, toy media franchises, 2000 nostalgia, zero in profit last year. We've covered Barbie, Monster High, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, you name it. You perform here, ears open for you anywhere. First podcast out of college is critical, kid. You either get on the correct podcast or you end up in a life-sucking abyss. So it all depends on how you respond to my next two words. Impress me.
Now?
Impress me.
You catch me off guard.
Impress me.
I'm an open book. Ask me any question.
So you're a go-getter, Ramrod, taking charge kind of guy?
Yeah, I'm a killer, a stone cold podcast host.
So you're a take charge kind of guy?
Take charge, Viking barbarian, of course. That's me. Pow, I'm recording.
We're not looking for that here. We are looking for a co-host, a team player here. Why are you using what appears to be your laptop's built-in microphone? It is auditory and therefore a visceral betrayal. Stop it. Disgusting. It's total anarchy around here. Anyway, this week we're talking about the third Michael Bay Transformers movie, Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That was an
Good
intro.
Good old John Malkovich. He's a tough voice to get down. I was trying to do it in my head. And he over enunciates every word.
Yes, and then he has an accent on top of that I can't quite nail down. But anyway, this is Transformers 3 for Mr. Bay.
Yeah. This was announced initially as the publicity cycle was ramping up for the Revenge of the Fallen release. Studios will have to do this where they'll announce a sequel as they're marketing the current release to kind of be like, hey, go out in theaters. We're making another one of these, so better go check this out. Now, often it's kind of just a publicity thing and it doesn't necessarily mean the movie will get made. But here, they actually announced that it would be released 2 years later, July 2011. And this was apparently news to Michael Bay, the director, who was planning on a 2012 release. He had been wanting to take some time off between making Transformers movies, but Paramount apparently didn't want him to. And anyway, he did eventually get to work on the new film with the 2011 release date. And yeah, after the poor response to Revenge of the Fallen, for this one, Bay specifically wanted to make this less goofy and more grounded.
And probably darker too, yeah.
Yeah. I think we can argue it is definitely less goofy and probably more grounded. It is not goofy.
I mean, it's cringe anyway.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah, this was released June 29, 2011. Of course, directed by Michael Bay, written by Aaron Kruger. The other co-writers of the last two movies elected not to return here. But then we also have additional writing by Jenny Connor, who I was just looking into this earlier this morning. And she was a writer on the TV show Girls. And she was brought in to add some more humor and improve the women characters a little bit. I think you can feel her touch on like the edges. We'll talk about that further down.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Not from the camera side, but
yeah. No, it's definitely like whatever she added is drowned out by everything that Bay is doing. but it's there. There's like little hints of it. Um, and then we have cinematography by Amir Mokri, who is a very prolific Iranian American cinematographer. He has a ton of experience on Hollywood blockbusters. He worked with Michael Bay on Bad Boys 2. He also did National Treasure, Book of Secrets, Fast and
Ooh.
Furious. Of course, the fourth Fast and Furious movie, as well as Man of Steel, which I don't know if you were noticing watching this, but this has a very similar feel to Man of Steel, especially like the last act, just in terms of like the way that
Okay.
the big visual effects sequences are filmed.
As well as action bloat, but yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that has more to do with like writing and directing, but I think the cinematography, it's interesting. We talk a lot about cinematographers, and often they don't get much of a chance to put their own stamp on things, especially when you have a director like Michael Bay, who is very sort of particular in what he wants. But I was noticing some cinematographic flourishes. And then he also worked on Transformers Age of Extinction. So we will be
Cool.
talking about him again next time. And once again, we have music by Steve Jablonsky.
Jablonski. Anyway, here's the story of this film. So, with most of the Decepticons in hiding, the Autobots have pivoted to serving the U.S. military interests, such as attacking bases in Iran. Mhm. Anyway, while on a mission to Chernobyl, Optimus encounters a piece of an Autobot ship that went missing centuries ago, but somehow it's the 1960s. Anyway, the ship contained devices called pillars capable of creating portals, and it turns out it crash landed on Earth's moon in the 1960s. Optimus visits the ship on the moon and finds its captain, Sentinel Prime, unconscious and almost dead, along with several pillars. Back on Earth, Optimus revives Sentinel using the Matrix of Leadership. Through their network of human spies, okay, the Decepticons learn of the pillars and plan a raid on the base where they're being kept. Well, yeah. Anyway, the Autobots successfully fend them off, only for Sentinel to reveal that he has secretly been working with the Decepticons the whole time. And Sentinel announces to the world that he and the Decepticons will leave everyone in peace if they agree to exile the Autobots. The Autobots comply, sending their rocket back into space. The Decepticons blow up the rocket as it launches, seemingly killing all the Autobots. So the Decepticons take over Chicago by killing everyone and begin setting up the pillars all over Earth, planning to teleport the planet Cybertron to Earth and destroying the entire solar cycle ecosystem and use humanity as slave labor to restore them, even though whatever. The U.S. military sends in a special task force, and the Autobots also show up, having hidden in one of the boosters that dropped off before the explosion. Luckily, they begin fighting the Decepticons, trying to destroy the pillars that control all the other pillars. And Optimus engages Sentinels and loses an arm. Megatron, still badly wounded from his last fight with Optimus, mostly sits on the sidelines. And seeing an opportunity, Carly, this a curator for a car museum who has gotten swept up in the conflict, manipulates Megatron somehow into turning on Sentinel. And before Sentinel can kill Optimus, Megatron shows up and wounds him. And so Optimus decapitates Megatron and then executes Sentinel despite his pleas for mercy. And so Bumblebee destroys the control pillar, which causes Cybertron to collapse in on itself for some reason, defeating the purpose of the Autobots mission.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
these movies are way too long. Like, I should not be able to write a pretty complete plot summary without once mentioning the main character.
This, I mean, wait till we get to the next film, which is a 5-act film with
Oh no.
with like 2 third acts.
Oh no.
That should be interesting. I wonder what our summary is going to be like that time. This is
Yeah.
interesting. Like this was the first one that I saw in theaters that I was like, I think I'm kind of tired of Transformers. Um,
Oh,
I did not enjoy this when I saw it in theaters, and so over the years, retrospectively, I'm like, okay, this is probably the best one of the trilogy. But I actually prefer watching the first two over this one
okay.
for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just all the convolutedness, um, the the changes of characters and the motivations of characters. It's all an ordeal.
Yeah,
Maybe it's also maybe it's just the tones as well. This is a much darker tone as well, which tends to be for the third films of things.
yeah. Which I think I actually appreciated the darker tone. I didn't even realize consciously until you were talking about it now, but yeah, the darker tone kind of drew me in a little more than the last two movies. It's still, as we were alluding to before, this is still a very goofy, very over the top, very Michael Bay movie, but
Yes.
there's a heavier undercurrent to it, um which, yeah, I actually found a lot to like in this one, weirdly. um yeah, I don't know. This was kind of addressing a lot of the issues I've had with the other two, while still not quite
While not
figuring everything
fixing
out.
it and then just taking it to another extreme.
Yeah. Again, yeah, this is so long. Like, if this was 2 hours long, the last 40 minutes are a big action set piece. This would be like, we would be talking about this movie as one of the best action films ever made. But it's not that. It is 2 hours and what, 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours.
Just about, yeah.
And it's so much. There's so much going on.
It's it's weird. Like the third act is definitely bloated, and yet
Yeah.
I also feel that we're missing crucial scenes in that third act.
Yeah, there was some jumping around. I read your Letterboxd review before I watched it, and
Like there's one that specifically comes to mind. There's like a moment. So Bumblebee, Bumblebee, he rescues Sam and whatever from something. Then we go to action. The next time we cut to Bumblebee, he and a bunch of other Autobots have been captured and are about to be executed out
yeah,
of nowhere. And it's supposed to be this really serious scene. And I'm like, what happened here? I feel like we missed something.
yeah. There were other missing pieces that I was noticing. Stuff around like the oh, I'm forgetting her name.
Carly or the
No,
secretary.
the secretary. Yeah, director Meering.
Hmm.
Um, certain beats that seem to be missing there, like
Yeah.
just very small scenes. I almost wonder if it's because editing a film, especially one like this that is so big and so complicated and there's so many threads, I can imagine that they're doing a final pass, just tightening things up, and they're like, oh, we can cut this scene here and not lose anything, not realizing that, oh, this was the only scene which we talked about this specific thing, so now the audience doesn't have that like little connective tissue. You'll see it happen a lot. There will, yeah, editing films is very weird, and stuff can fall through the cracks, especially when you're dealing with something as massive as this.
As well as like having a lot of VFX, you have to deal with like
Yeah,
editing with like storyboards versus the finished product.
yeah, and I mean, it sounds like they didn't have a very long production cycle for this, if it was going into production essentially right after Revenge of the Fallen
Hmm.
came out. um so yeah, it's very possible that there were scenes either that they didn't weren't written or weren't filmed or got cut in
Weren't
the editing
finished
bay.
enough or
Yeah.
something.
I don't know.
Maybe
For
they
me, it
just
didn't like,
forgot. I don't know.
yeah.
It wasn't like something that like completely threw me out of the film, but when I saw that happen, I was like, wait, what happened? Did I miss something? Like, was I not paying attention? Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
and it happened a few times that I felt like, okay, it's not me, it's probably the film. Something's going on here.
Yeah. Is that something that you like watching it in the theater you remember thinking?
No, no, I don't think I wouldn't notice those things back in the theater.
Okay.
Um, I I don't know if I really remember. I just remember like I liked the action. I felt it was cool, but I felt like I didn't like this one as much as the others
Okay.
out of the theater. Uh, this was like 2011, so there were like
Yeah.
other films that were just kind of the same. Where it's like, yeah, I don't like them as much this year. So
Is this Oh, okay, here's a big question. Do you remember the first time you saw a movie and thought, "Oh, this is bad"?
like in theaters or in general.
In general. Like not even someone told you, "Oh, this is a bad movie," but you watched one and thought to yourself, cuz for me this was about the age when that was like starting to be a thing I would notice every once in a while.
Maybe, maybe I'm not sure. I did think that the Spider-Man film that came out that year was kind of bad, so
Okay.
maybe I was feeling the same things around this time. Yeah, like I was in middle school, so my tastes are changing.
Yeah, cuz as a kid, every movie you watch is good.
Good enough. You can somewhat
Yeah.
tell that some are slightly better than others, but like you can watch them all and not cringe.
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of you're watching movies to watch movies. Whereas once you get a little bit older, you start to be like, "Oh, I didn't like this thing." So yeah, this was when this was coming out, which I didn't see this in theaters. But yeah, this would have been around the time with other stuff that I was like starting to realize, "Oh, I didn't like this experience." That's kind of odd. I'm not used to that. Um, so I could see like that being something here where why you may have responded to this one the way you
Yeah,
did.
would have been around this time. Like even watching it like recently, it's like in retrospect, like I look at all the details and I'm like, this should be really good. Except I don't
Hmm.
feel the same way as I do with the other ones. Even though I they're cringy as heck, but they're
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It could be just too much. Some I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on.
yeah, yeah. For me, I like this more than the other Bay Transformers movies that we've seen thus far, and I think part of it is that so when I watch or like engage with stories, one of the big things for me is character. If you can give me a character for me to latch onto with like something interesting about them, I'm so much more invested in the movie. And this one introduces this sort of backstory for Optimus and this relationship between him and Sentinel that I find very interesting of sort of this former mentor, this guy who Optimus looked up to. And who it's kind of like that feeling of like when you go back to your parents' house for Christmas or something and suddenly you're a kid again, where Optimus has been this leader for centuries. But as soon as Sentinel shows up, he's like, "Oh, now you're the leader. I'm going back to being like what we used to be before I was
Mm,
Prime." Um,
right.
and then to have that betrayal there and to have the relationship switch so dramatically, it's the most dynamic relationship that we have seen in any of these movies.
Very dramatically as well.
Yeah. No, it's really fascinating and something that I latched onto after not finding a whole lot to latch onto in the other movies.
Were there like hundreds of Decepticons on the moon for a long time?
Apparently.
It's like, where were they in the past two films?
Yeah. You kind of have to just take each of these as their own like thing, I think.
I think for me, probably around this time, the whole espionage aspect. I was like, oh, really? Like, are we really changing the backstory again? Okay, Megatron was a very busy man. um,
Yeah, no,
it's like,
his
okay,
his plan makes no sense when you
all
look
right,
at it
okay,
across
just
three movies.
I gotta go to the Earth for the cube. I gotta do something with the Fallen. I got this guy coming so we can transport Cybertron. Like, he's got three plans going on. None of them
Yeah,
actually connect with each other, but he's been doing it all along. Even though the timeline of Sentinel coming to Earth doesn't doesn't make sense at all. But
yeah.
whatever.
I guess he was just like floating in space.
But he
Um,
wasn't just floating in space.
I guess yeah, because well, gravity wise, like okay, so space, you have the slightest bit of inertia, and that can
I'm
push you
pretty
forever.
sure that they warped out during the
Okay.
explosion. Maybe that affected things, but I don't. It's not explained. So from the visual language, I'm assuming that it took place in the '60s,
Yeah, I don't know.
even though
Yeah, because
Megatron crashed like so much earlier,
yeah, I mean, I didn't even question it when it was happening, but
and none
my
of the
guess is it's
Decepticons were
supposed
in on the
to.
plan. I guess when they shot that
Yeah,
thing down.
yeah. I don't know what would be going on. Who
Why did they
knows?
leave him there? I don't know. Like, they
Yeah.
didn't know that about the Matrix. All they knew was the cube. I don't know. Like, when you really go and pick it apart, it becomes a problem. But
It does.
just by itself, sure, why not? I think that's how these films are supposed to be watched. Just
Yeah.
forget about the one before it. This is the one you have to care about now.
Which I was really into this whole espionage and covert operations angle. It,
It can be cool, yes, but it's very unlike the Decepticons we've seen in the
oh
past
yeah,
couple
no,
films.
it's very very out of character, but I liked that
Sure,
because
yeah.
it reminded me a bit of like the films of Roland Emmerich,
Mm.
Independence Day and Moonfall, and even like Anonymous in
I
2012, where
think
it's just like
I think in a independent universe I would like it more. But
yeah,
because it was like these Bay films that already established things and then just did whatever. It gets worse with each film that keeps going. So
yeah,
um
I don't know, I just really liked, I mean, yeah, it's the Roland Emmerich structure of like we
right.
start out with this like conspiracy government stuff's going on, and then it turns
Mhm.
into a disaster movie, and that
Yeah.
just like fits with the Bay ethos so well, better than like a boy in his car type, the Spielberg sort of conception for the story that the
Sure.
first movie
Sure.
had, that they kind of try and do in the second one. Here
But
they're just like, no.
one is an easier watch. This one requires. I mean, this one requires a whole lot of other things because we have to get into the whole thing with Megan Fox and whatnot.
uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm also like more into the like government intrigue stuff than you are.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I studied political science, so that's like an interest of mine, and like
Sure.
tracking all of the stuff that's like going on with what does the government think of the politics of it all. It's interesting, and I like that this is actually giving us a variety of perspectives, where in the last movie it was kind of framed as like, how dare the government question the Autobots, or like what's going on. Here with director mirroring the Frances McDormand character, we're actually getting a bit more of her perspective. Like the movie is still being like, ah, she's like how dare she like question the Autobots? But there's more of like you understand her perspective a little bit more here. When she has this great line when Sam shows up, she just turns to someone and is like, "We cannot entrust national security to a teenager." It's like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
She
that is very
she
true. But by this point though, it's like,
yeah.
all right, Sam killed Megatron, then somehow got the other stuff. It's like, okay, something doesn't add up somewhere. So
Yeah.
I whatever. I didn't really care for any of that conflict at all.
Yeah. I was invested in it enough to like for it to kind of work for me. Sam also is a bit more of an active participant in the plot. He no longer owns the map to the MacGuffin,
Right.
so he's not just kind of getting thrust into things, he's actually instigating things. Now, none of them actually have that big of an effect on the plot because like you saw before, I cut him out of the plot summary entirely and it still mostly makes sense. Um
Yeah, I think also this one I didn't like any of the Sam stuff
okay.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
again,
some
a lot of his weird, a lot of the scenes is weird. The whole thing with John Malkovich is weird in general. But
we'll talk about John Malkovich. That those parts are some of my favorite parts of the movie, even though they have nothing to do with anything else.
okay,
And then yeah, the last hour of this movie is basically a kaiju movie with Transformers.
that maybe goes on a little bit too long, but
Oh yeah, definitely. But
yeah.
when it's like when it is here's a
What?
group of humans who we are following. They are in this building. It is actively being
Yeah.
targeted by this like giant Decepticon worm thing. That's so good. That's such a good idea. It
Also,
fits
like
so well.
the stakes are just, like really high. Like we see them slaughter humans, like straight
Yeah.
up disintegrate humans. Before then, the other films it was kind of ambiguous about civilian casualties. Here, it is full on.
Now
We're
to
not
be fair,
hiding any of this.
one of the humans that they disintegrated, I don't know what if she would have lasted very long considering that there were only like 3 bones that fell out of her body when she disintegrated. I don't
Uh,
think the human body is supposed to only have 3 bones. But I think I think that was just if we do an entire skeleton that's too funny, so let's just do 3 bones. But
they make it more visceral. It's like it's disintegrating bones as well.
except
I
for the
guess.
skull part of like a rib cage and then like one other bone.
Yes. Yes.
But no, it's like it turns into a kaiju movie and that is so much it fits so well within the Bay aesthetic, within that chaos where you're actually using the design of these like the over designed transformers to inspire like tension.
This is kind of similar to the Avengers film that would come out the very next year, with
Yeah,
the
they have a lot
invading
of
army
similarities.
taking over the city. You got some sky beam going on. You got some
Yeah.
betrayal. Uh, yeah, I think this film also slightly affected my viewing of the Avengers film as
Okay.
well. Because again, a lot of it was like too soon. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
very, very similar. In
Did
retrospect, I like it better. I like it better, but still,
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking of Avengers and I think Avengers is easier to follow
yeah,
in general. But
yeah.
yeah, this just has like certain elements that I really enjoyed. Um
Hmm.
all of these things though are like brought down by the writing, which is still a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
Um or not a bit of an issue, the main issue.
bit of an issue.
Yeah. It's yeah. So first off, in the last two movies, they made this big deal about how the Autobots are not going to get involved in like human conflict. So why are the
Yeah,
Autobots attacking Iran for the U.S. military? Why is the U.S. military actively antagonizing Iran using the Autobots? Are they at
it's
war with Iran? What's going
it's
on?
it's never explained. Like
Why
all of a
is
sudden they're attacking Iran, and then all of a sudden we're in Chernobyl.
yeah? It again. I don't need an explanation for this. I'm just asking why.
Yeah,
What is going on? What has changed?
yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's there's just so many little writing issues. Like Sam's story, most of
Mm.
it could have been cut out. I had an idea for you could simplify his story so much. You could cut out all of the John Malkovich stuff and just make it like the Patrick Dempsey character. What's his name? Is it Dylan? That doesn't really help. But the human who's working with the
Yeah,
Decepticons,
yeah, yeah.
what
Dylan,
if
yes.
instead of like putting in a good word with John Malkovich, he just hires him himself? And then Sam is like working at his company and being like, hey, there's some weird stuff going on. And then goes to report it. And then his boss is like, hey, come over here. I need to talk to you about something. Here's a meeting we're doing. And that's when does like the watch thing. Like we just cut out a solid like 30 minutes worth of movie just by making that switch.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, why is John Malkovich here? I love those scenes. Why is John Malkovich here?
Yeah, like he boxes Bumblebee for some reason. That scene
That's his like
always
last scene. He disappears after that scene.
it always confused me. It was like, what are you doing with a Bumblebee? Like, why are you what? Why is he involved now with Ancient Simmons? Like, what's going on here? We got
Uh,
Alan Tudyk as well. Okay.
yeah, we'll talk about him. We have Ken Jeong playing
Oh
the most
boy.
Michael Bay character who ever existed. Like
Oh
if you
yeah.
distilled every Michael Bay character into one character and like the manic energy flowing off
Mm,
him.
yeah.
He was nominated for a Razzie for this for some reason. It was part of like he was in a bunch of movies and so the Razzie nomination was for all of them. It's like no, he is perfect in this because he is so fully embodying Bayhem. He has just like for his scenes, he has become Bayhem incarnate. Like, what is going on at any point with this character? Uh,
Yeah. No.
there's so many like
Could
poorly
you
aged gay
could
jokes.
you could you imagine that character in the third act?
That would destroy the movie. It would just fall apart.
We'll see what you think about the next film.
Okay.
Because
Uh,
there's a character that kind of has a similar manic energy to this character.
okay. Well, yeah. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know. I
well,
don't know if it's a different actor. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it, but I might. I mean,
we'll
I
see.
mean, I feel the same way about like,
We'll
um,
see.
oh, why am I forgetting names? Too many names going on in my head. John Turturro. I feel similarly about him, where it's just like, oh, he's embodying like a chaos that is very in line with what the rest of the movie is doing. Um,
Hmm.
we do have a bunch of gay jokes. It's weird because last movie they were like there were the like stereotypical Transformers doing like drag queen talk, but
Yeah.
here they've just like completely gone overboard.
The greatest sport of all time. Gay chicken.
Ha! Unlucky for you, I'm a regional gay chicken champ.
I assume that's from an abridged series.
It is good
Okay.
catch. That's from
Is
50%
it?
off the
Yeah,
best.
I was thinking that was it. Yeah,
Have you seen that?
I've seen a couple episodes. I know
Oh,
I know you keep referencing it, but yeah.
I have seen that many times. I just a few months ago got together with a bunch of friends and we watched it. Yeah, it is so weird what Sam is doing in those scenes. What, like, I couldn't get a read on anything going on. It was just so weird. And so, like, this is the last moment in time where you could make those scenes and not get heavy criticism for it. But
It's
also, I
still,
kind of,
yeah, it still feels weird and uncomfortable, but yeah.
yeah. But it's also just like so over the top
Nothing to
that
do with
it's
this
like,
film.
I can't find it offensive because it's just, it's so weird that it like jumps over being offensive and loops back around to be like, what is going on here? I don't understand this, and yet somehow something is going on. John Malkovich is like, I don't care what you do in the bathroom or whatever his line is. It's like, oh, good of you, John Malkovich. You're in 2 more scenes and then you're done.
Yeah, next scene is like, ah, man just jumped out of the window. He was depressed. Let's move on.
That scene. The fact that there is no unpacking of any of this except for John Malkovich being like, oh, there's a little bit of him in the snack stand, there's a little bit of him on the window. He doesn't even explain to Sam what happened. That's just, he's like, hey, clear out this guy's office. Oh, where did this guy go? Oh, he's all over the place. Those scenes, what, that whole office segment just in my head is just like a slush.
What is that office anyway?
Like,
What do they do?
the thing with the colors where John Malkovich is like, there is a red cup on the yellow floor. This is anarchy. Get rid of it. Why? What? I get that he's like a weird tech CEO. What does this have to do with anything? I I wish I remembered. I should have read it, but actually no, I am not going to say that because there's no way I would have read it. But I had the novelization for this movie because I accidentally bought it, and then I read it because I accidentally bought it, so I might as well read it. I wonder if there's stuff in there that is like scenes that got cut from here that expand the stuff in The Office.
I don't know about The Office, but I think I read somewhere that there was a scene in the novel with Sentinel where he was just watching a bunch of kids in the playground. He was like, "Huh,
Oh.
if we had more playgrounds, maybe we wouldn't need to do this plan or something." I don't know the specific context, but that was the gif of the scene. I think the justice of the scene.
Oh, I wish I could remember more of it. This was many years ago that I read
Mhm.
this. Yeah. Oh, that's,
All right, so the Autobots in this one are kind of interesting.
yeah. Okay. So this is the other thing I wanted to talk about. Um, because the Autobots here, and this has been true of the other movies to an extent as well. The Autobots say that they care about freedom and justice, but their actions very much say otherwise. The big thing is, of course, Optimus Prime shooting Sentinel in the back of the head, which we'll talk more, unpack that more a bit later down when we get to characters. But
Right.
there's a lot going on there. They're getting involved in all of these human conflicts despite saying that they wouldn't. Their whole thing, Optimus's whole thing is like, people should have the right to self-determine. But then he's sending Bumblebee to Iran to blow up a base. And then they break their promise to leave the humans. Optimus, throughout all of these movies, have been like, hey, humans, if you ask us to leave, we will go. And then the humans are like, okay, time for you to leave. And they're like, okay, bye. And then they just hide away. in the rocket and stay. And Optimus is like, "Told you so. You shouldn't have told us to leave. See what happened." This is what freedom looks like. It is you doing what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
It's yeah. It's just like, again, it's they are committed to freedom
Hmm.
verbally. They do not actually show it. Meanwhile, like the Decepticons actually do evil things. The
Yes.
Autobots are framed as good only because that's what the script says.
But again, it's also like the Decepticons do these evil things, but they're doing it to save their planet
Yeah.
as well,
They have
which
as much.
apparently the Autobots just don't care about anymore. It's like
Yeah. It's this thing where it's like the only reason that the Decepticons are evil and the Autobots are good is because that's how the movie frames them. Like they're both
also
doing horrible
Decepticons,
things.
like I said, Decepticons are just willing to kill people. Like doesn't matter, they don't care. They'll
The
destroy the planet
Autobots
to
are
get
willing
their
to
dogs.
kill people. They don't care. Optimus Prime leaves planet Earth knowing full
Uh,
well that the Decepticons are going to kill a whole bunch of people.
mhm.
He's just like, okay, fine, we'll leave. That'll show you. You see, you shouldn't have told us to leave. Look at the millions of people that died.
Yep.
Like, he's not directly responsible for that, but his whole thing, he's not like, oh man, this is such a tragedy. Look at all the people who died. He's like, nah, 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 told you so. Like, okay, there are two scenes here. One of them, it's the one that you were talking about before. The Decepticons have captured a bunch of Autobots, and they execute one of them. I think his name is Q. I assume a
Someone.
reference to James Bond.
I don't know.
Anyway, they execute him even though he's begging for mercy. They shoot him in the back of the head, and it's framed as cruel, and the tragic music is played, and Bumblebee is like, "It was good knowing you, old friend." And then, like 20 minutes later, Optimus Prime executes Sentinel, who has surrendered and is begging for mercy. And this time, it's heroic and triumphant, and oh, look at Optimus Prime, he did something so good. It's like they're the same scene. The only difference is that one of them is the bad guys doing it, so therefore it is bad, and one of them is the good guys doing it, so therefore it is good.
Yeah, it's it's something.
And this is just like it
You'd never see
permeates.
this in the cartoons.
Yeah, and it permeates everything because it's like the implication is that the Autobots are justified in anything they do. All of the violence and the brutality is justified because the Autobots are nominally committed to peace and freedom. Not that they're actually committed to peace and freedom, but they say that they're committed to peace and freedom. Therefore, they can do whatever they want. Good thing there aren't any real life organizations doing the same thing. Oh, wait, there's the US military. Like, this is so obviously military propaganda, even though it feels less than the last two movies. But ideologically, this is still about, hey, if we say that we are supporting freedom and peace, it doesn't matter what we do to achieve those things. And yeah, if that wasn't like obvious enough, they are using 9/11 imagery in the last action scene like very pointedly. It's
Yep.
it's like I don't want to be too overbearing about this because I do think it's fine to enjoy these as like dumb action movies.
Yeah, but
But they're
you're
also
right.
they
When
have
you
like a
take
very specific worldview.
yeah, which is very conflicting with a lot of these characters. Like
Yeah.
Optimus here is not Optimus from other stuff. Like this
Yeah.
Optimus will kill. I mean, like the actor has had so many problems with these films. He's like, man, I hate it when I go to the recording booth and a lot of the lines is like, oh, I'll kill them all. Like, oh, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's such a distillation of like what I have to assume is just Michael Bay's view on the world, which is that you have good versus evil.
I guess it's also just like action films.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a lot of these same criticisms of like Man of Steel, but even Man of Steel is more invested in Clark's humanity than these are invested in the Transformers as characters who show empathy and mercy and actually have value the things they say to value. And yeah, these are like, again, if you want to watch this as a dumb action movie, I think that is completely valid.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, we're here on a podcast to talk to like pick this apart, and these movies have a very specific idea of who they want you to see as good and who they want you to see as evil. And it's basically in the second scene of the movie where the Autobots attack Iran. The movie is like, here you go, good versus evil, heroes versus villains. Which,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying that Iran is good or that the US is evil. I'm saying that there are shades here. And just because something is evil does not make its opposite good. Like, just because the Decepticons are bad does not mean the Autobots are good.
I think one of the first drafts of the script ended with Megatron and Optimus having a truce, and Megatron going
Yeah.
back to Cybertron, and Optimus just staying on Earth instead of the, well, we gotta fight and have them kill each other again.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that because I have some things to say about Optimus as a character when we get to characters. But yeah, it's just like there is a lot here that if they were intentional about it, they could be making some very incisive comments on like if the movie isn't framing Optimus's actions as inherently good. If there's a little bit more criticism in that. If they're like, "Hey, maybe he's taking things too far sometimes." But instead we just kind of have Optimus is the hero because he's the hero in the cartoon and because Michael Bay thinks that heroes act like this. And so yeah, you end up with something where
And
just
it's
kind
like,
of
okay, kids are not going to question it because they're
yeah.
robots.
Yeah, no, it's like you show this to a kid and they're like, "Ah, the good guys and the bad guys." I understand these concepts because that is in every piece of media I have seen thus far as a kid. And this is not complicating those things. So, oh, Optimus Prime shot that guy in the head. That must be a good thing. Where it's like, I can see the argument for Optimus Prime shooting Sentinel in the head. He did not have to do that. And it feels like something that if Optimus Prime were the hero of the story, he wouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
In the way that, like, it's the Batman no kill rule.
Yeah. Also, like, we kind of just overlook that Ironhide got murdered by Sentinel. It's like
Yeah.
Optimus had no feelings about that. It's like, oh,
No.
you killed Ironhide, my friend.
Yeah.
This
We'll,
is for
we'll,
Ironhide. Boom. Nope.
we'll get into that when we talk about characters because I have something to say about that specifically. But yeah, for story here, wrapping things up for at least my thoughts. This is probably the best of these Bay Transformers movies thus far, but that
It
doesn't necessarily make it good.
correct. It is the best plot wise, somewhat. It is more coherent.
Yeah.
It is
I don't know
less
if it's more
cringy.
coherent.
Sorry. It is. It is. I don't know. It's more whatever. It's less cringy than the
Yeah.
other
It's more
ones.
it's maybe more
It has
cohesive.
it has stakes that I actually care about than
Yeah.
like pyramids or a weird cube.
Yeah, it feels like it better understands its characters.
It's like, okay, here we have a appropriate timetable. A giant planet is coming, and we're gonna be slaves. Versus, I guess sucking up the sun is also a big thing, but you never really feel the tension in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave the story here a 2.5 out of 5. It's, again, a lot of issues, but there's also stuff that I really liked, or somewhat
I,
liked.
I gave it a 2.8, which is the highest any of these Transformers films are gonna go, except maybe when we're not doing base stuff. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, on to characters. I'm just gonna skip right down to Optimus Prime since we were talking about him. He's okay. Let's start with what I like about his character. As I was saying before, he's confronted with the reality that his like hero slash former mentor is not who he thought he was. And so Optimus has to kind of forge his own path and be like, no, I am committed to humanity. I think this is the right thing to do, even though this guy who I look up to says otherwise. And that's just like a really cool space to put a character into, of like
if
having
only,
to,
if only that was the focus of the film.
yeah, no, it would be so good because it's like I feel like I'm finally getting a sense for who he is beyond just being like the stoic, I'm the leader, freedom, let's blow people up. Here it's like, no, he has this history and this identity and this like there's been 100 years since he last saw Sentinel Prime, and in that 100 years he's had growth that has now taken him beyond where Sentinel Prime is. Where Sentinel Prime is like, we got to restore Cybertron no matter what. And at one point in the past, Optimus Prime probably agreed with him. But now, or could have been won over to his side. But now Optimus Prime has had these many, many years of experience. And he's like, no, there's other stuff here that is more important. Yeah, it's just like that is such a cool place to put him in. And as you were saying, that would be cool if that was the focus of the movie.
It's also like in these three films, Optimus is always like, "Oh no, guys, there's good in these humans," but we never
Yeah.
see an example where Optimus is
No.
just hanging out with humans doing good stuff.
No, it's always on the audience to fill in the gaps.
Like maybe Bumblebee has seen some stuff hiding in the garage, or
Yeah.
whenever Michaela and Sam are making out on top of him. But
Oh, I don't think they're just on top of him. I think they're inside him. Going full Teton there.
So let's move on from that subject. Boy.
You got the touch.
No. You're going a bit farther, buddy.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's no sense of like, why does Optimus care about humanity? Even just like a scene of like Optimus listening to Mozart and being like, this is beautiful. I guess he kind of has that with Sentinel when they're like
it's
looking over
really,
the savannah.
really the simplest reason why we don't get any of that is because it's too expensive to animate all that. So we also
Yeah.
just have to fill our stuff with humans because it's cheaper just to do the humans than to fill it with the Autobots. That's one thing I am looking forward to / I am happy about Transformers 1 that we are going to see and just saw last week.
Yes. Yeah, we have not recorded that episode yet, but
Yes.
you listeners will have been made available to you.
No
Yeah.
humans. That should be exciting. We'll see how that turns out / how it's been.
Yeah. Yeah, here I am missing that, like, which I think any other director, maybe not any other director, a lot of other directors would be like, okay, I know it's expensive, but we need a scene, of Optimus having a genuine connection with humanity. and like finding something to respond to. I think Michael Bay is like, oh, we'll just save that money for the action scenes. Which yeah, leads to this thing where Optimus Prime is just so terribly hypocritical. Like he claims to be super empathetic, and he is to humanity, though we don't ever really see that in action. When he's interacting with people in this movie, he's mainly interacting with director Marion and being like, "You're wrong about everything." Which, yeah, she's wrong about a lot of things, but also that that does not make Optimus Prime look heroic. Um,
You
and then yeah,
humans lied to us
yeah,
about this stuff from space. I mean, they couldn't have lied if they didn't know about it for the past two films, really. It's just
yeah,
something made up for this film,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah. Come on, read the script, Optimus. This was something added for this movie. Yeah, and then he like intentionally lets the Decepticons run rampant to teach the humans a lesson. Like, that's not empathy. That is like bad parenting.
Like, you could get away with something like that in the cartoons because nobody's actually dying. But
Yeah.
here, like, you lost an entire city, Optimus.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, when you like get into it, Optimus isn't all that different from Sentinel. Because they're both letting the ends justify the means. Even though Optimus Prime is like, I would never let the ends justify the means, he's always letting the ends justify the means. That is just his actions are different than what he says. They both act very like unilaterally, like I'm the leader, no one else is. I'm making these decisions. Even though again, Optimus Prime says he is committed to like self-determination. Um it's a mess. And then yeah, neither of them are like they're both show no mercy to their enemies, like take no prisoners. It's
Also, like, hold on. Uh, Megatron didn't do anything to antagonize Prime in that
yeah,
final act. He's like, "Hey, Prime, like, what would you be without me?" And Prime is like, "Let's find out," and then murders him.
yeah. Which yeah, it's like outside of general ideology, the biggest difference between Sentinel and Optimus is that the film frames Optimus's actions as good and Sentinel's
Well,
actions as evil.
let me rephrase that. Did nothing directly to Optimus.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, like he is putting on this plan to kill and enslave humans for stuff, but besides that, he had done
yeah,
nothing to
yeah.
antagonize Optimus.
Yeah, there's a version of this film where Optimus realizes that he has a bunch of these traits that he's learned from Sentinel, which makes sense. You know, Sentinel's the one who trained him, so it makes sense that he would have a lot of similarities to Sentinel. Maybe there's a version of this movie where Optimus goes, "Hey, I've been acting unilaterally a lot lately. I've been letting the ends justify the means. Maybe I need to not do that anymore and become better than Sentinel." But no, instead of that, Optimus shoots Sentinel in the back of the head because he can't show mercy, because within the ethos of these movies, mercy is weakness.
Yeah,
It's here's something I was realizing this morning as I was thinking about this. Optimus in these movies doesn't have a save the cat moment. So I assume you're familiar with Save the Cat, but for anyone in the
yes.
audience who isn't, let me look up who give credit to the guy who came up with the. Okay, so yeah, it's a book by Blake Snyder, who noticed a similarity in a lot of superhero movies where, or like superhero media in general, where the hero does some small act of kindness to prove that they are heroic. So obviously the classic example is Superman saves a cat out of a tree. Something
Yeah.
that
So it's like, okay, they're not just doing like the big hero stuff of like
yeah,
stopping the plane from crashing. They're just, okay, I have time in my day to save this cat that, let's be honest, cats don't need saving from
no, yeah.
trees.
But it's just
you
like
know.
a moment of like kindness that lets you know that the hero is genuinely a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need save the cat moments, but I cannot imagine this version of Optimus saving a cat.
Maybe in the first film, but no, not in these past couple.
Yeah, he's not a hero, he's an anti-hero. Emphasis on the anti. Like, yeah, these movies are often compared to superhero movies, but they aren't, because these characters are not heroes.
I mean, they're closer to maybe stuff you might see in Snyder,
Yeah.
but at least like Snyder pivoted to going to abandoned cities versus
Yeah.
Metropolis in later films.
No, yeah, even even Snyder's version of Batman, I could imagine saving a cat at some point in his life.
Well, I mean, yeah, yeah.
This version of Optimus, I cannot imagine saving a cat ever. And it's like, he didn't have to kill Sentinel. This isn't like a Joker situation where Batman doesn't kill Joker and Joker escapes and they have this like repetition over and over again. Eventually go, why doesn't Batman just kill Joker and like stop it? And obviously there's ethical. There's a the entirety of Batman media is dealing with that exact thing. But here, there's no reason for Optimus to kill Sentinel. Cybertron has been destroyed along with all of the pillars. Sentinel can't do anything and has surrendered. So Optimus executing him is just about avenging a petty grievance. It's not even, like you said, it's not even justice for Ironhide. It is, you betrayed me, so now I will kill you.
Yeah. Like Optimus also has no emotions towards his home planet being obliterated and
No.
ripped apart, which makes me think that's kind of like the animator's fault for making it look that epic being destroyed that way. It's probably the
Yeah, I
script
was
just like
confused.
it disappears. That's probably how it
Yeah.
is in the script. But no, that thing blows up while it's also being ripped apart. So
Well,
destruction is happening.
implodes.
Also, hold on. The beam also cuts halfway through, so the planet was already cut in half
Yeah.
because the beam got shut down. So,
It's yeah, Cybertron is just gone. Um,
yeah,
again, I can imagine a version of this where Optimus needs to have some growth from this moment, where he kills Sentinel in like a fit of rage, either over Ironhide or over the destruction of Cybertron. He's just like, he kills Sentinel, and then like maybe the next movie is Optimus having to like come to terms with that and like, did I do the right thing? Did I do a bad thing? I don't imagine that's what the next movie is going to be about. No, I cannot imagine a world in which the next movie is about that.
about that, no,
I
no.
think it's
But
going to be
there's
explosions and robots.
they do take an interesting turn though in the
Oh,
next film.
okay.
Yeah, but again, it's filled with 5 acts of things.
uh,
We'll get
yeah,
to that. We'll get to that. Don't worry.
it's disappointing to me because there's such a good base for an interesting character arc for Optimus, where he has to reject the things that made his old leader, his mentor, his hero, the guy he looks up to, the things that made him bad, and embrace a completely different way of leadership. And I think we see that in other media. I'm trying to think of another movie that does this. But like, the old hero is revealed to be a sham, so the new hero must come in and like start a new path. I just thought of an example, but it's a controversial one, so I'll
Speed
skip it.
Racer.
Tron Legacy, Speed Racer. Yeah. these things where it's like, but doing that with Optimus, where he's like the guy, he is the Transformer. Giving him that arc would just be so
Oh,
powerful.
Invincible, kind of.
Yeah, no, that's a good one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might cut this out. The other one I was thinking of was The Last Jedi.
Oh, I mean that is true,
Yeah.
ish. Yeah.
That is what the movie is about. We don't need to, we have litigated this before. Anyway, like I imagine that your problems with Optimus here is that he's just so different from how he is portrayed in other media, where he is just like
Well,
doesn't make sense continuity, or like
yeah. I mean, it's like I have to ignore a lot of this because I understand that live action Hollywood would take things differently. So
yeah.
it's the
I think
case
it's
with
fair.
like superheroes as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Optimus. They should call him
well,
Pessimist Prime after this.
well, I think we've talked about Optimus for a while now. Let's
Yeah.
move
Let's go to
on.
Sam.
Let's go to Sam. We talked a bit about him already.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like
this
that he's more
this
active.
this is kind of the art that you were describing in the first film, but much more
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, he is finally admitting to himself that he misses being the world's savior, and sort of re-embracing that role as it becomes apparent he needs to. Scratch that. He doesn't need to be involved in the second half of this movie at all. He doesn't
No,
need to go to Chicago. Him going to Chicago doesn't change anything.
it has nothing to do with like stopping the Decepticons. It's just to save the
No.
girl. Do we
Even
care
then,
about that?
like, I think she would have been fine on her own. Like, okay, let's game this out. Sam doesn't go to Chicago. So the other characters that he goes with also don't go. The military task force still goes. So the characters that he goes with don't die in the building falling over. The task force didn't do anything. The I guess, who hit, no, because the people Sam brought with him are not the ones who destroyed the building.
No.
And then Sam fights with Dylan.
Starscream. He kills Starscream.
He's
That's his one
yeah.
contribution to to fighting the robots.
And then he like fights Dylan, but Bumblebee would have destroyed the pillar anyway.
Yeah, Dylan, whatever.
So Sam's purpose in Chicago, like, he doesn't, I guess, in freeing Carly, then she can go and talk to Megatron.
Why, I don't know. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I think I like that moment more than you like that moment. Anyway, Sam, I like that he's stuck trying to get a job. Maybe that's just because it's like
That's
the
where
post
we're at right
college
now.
looking
Yeah.
for jobs, that's more relatable to where I am right now than like high school student who just got his first car and is also insane. I mean, he's still insane here, but yeah, his jealousy here is just, Sam, why? First off, why did we'll talk about Carly. Sam knows he's not good enough for her, and thus projects his insecurities onto her, which is why he has this whole thing with Dylan of like, I don't like you because you're getting close with my girlfriend. And then Dylan turns out to be a bad guy. So it's like, Sam was right to not like him. The
Oh,
person
yeah.
who is being excluded in this whole thing is Carly herself. Sam apparently doesn't trust Carly to like set her own boundaries with her boss. Like, it's such a mess. Why is Carly with Sam? We can go down to Carly now. Why is Carly
Yeah.
with Sam? He is not a nice person.
Yeah, no.
Like, what? Why?
I it's the whole thing with her and Carly is really weird, and it is pretty jarring. It is
Yeah,
clear in some scenes that some of the dialogue was something that Michaela would have said.
yeah,
Um, but like I feel I this is so frustrating that I hate this sort of thing in films and TV shows where due to a circumstance with the actor they have to, instead of just recasting the character, they just do a completely different character or just write
yeah.
them off. It is so frustrating. Not because I'm actually invested in those characters, but because I feel like my time has been wasted on those sorts of things. It's like, why do you waste my time with that stupid romance? And they do it the same here. Sam says "I love you" quicker here than she did the Michaela, which is.
Yeah.
Also, why does he have Michaela's dog?
I didn't even notice that. Why does he have her dog? It's just like,
He,
Carly,
he
what are you
yeah.
doing here?
He gets another robot, a little tiny robot with wheelie. They disrespect Michaela in that she's
Yeah.
mean. Apparently, I mean, sure, you could say that.
Is, is she?
I mean, not really.
Again, I think Michaela did the right thing, which is break up with Sam.
It was the afterwards thing. Her
Yeah.
belittling the whole encounter afterwards was really the only
That's
mean
true.
thing.
Yeah.
But everything else, sure, she tortured that one little guy, but he was
I mean,
working for the bad guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was trying to murder her.
Also, like he was humping her or something. Like
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
It's
Let's.
like, yeah, Michaela does the right thing. Meanwhile, Carly is like,
But
I mean,
there's
Sam's mom asks like, "Do you have a big
yeah.
dot dot dot?" That is the only conclusion I am left with because Sam is not a nice person. He is not nice to Carly. He does not treat Carly well.
I don't feel like because
He's
Carly
not
doesn't.
funny.
Carly is just not a whole lot different from Michaela in
Yeah,
terms of what they represent. Like she
yeah,
is once again another sex object. Essentially, she's another lamp.
yeah, yeah. The sexy lamp. She is there to look pretty
She's
and
the
be a
she's
girl.
a she's like a lamp with an accent.
Yeah, she just. Oh, I felt like so much screaming in the action scenes, which to me just kind of felt unnecessary because she's a very brave person. But then for the action scenes, they have to have her on Sam's arm screaming while he's all heroic because that's what the movie calls for. It's like that's not who she is. If anything, Sam would be the one screaming while she's being all stoic. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so. I do, however, kind of feel like I can see a little bit that they had a woman writer do some touching up here because there's actually some good moments with her character. Um, she's just smart in ways that people don't expect her to be. Um, specifically that like manipulation of Megatron. I agree with your note here that it would make more sense if
Because
Michaela
it
does
it
it.
because it feels like that's what was its intended. Because Michaela
Yeah,
by that point would have had like 3 films of like being in the same room with Megatron several times.
yeah,
So like he'd be like, what do you want, child?" Like, why is he just listening to this random girl?
yeah,
Also, why does he need to be manipulated into taking down Sentinel instead of like, you're like anyone who tries to be the boss over him, he should be throwing them down
yeah,
immediately. Not I this is I guess another reason why I don't like this film as much because Megatron takes such a backseat. He doesn't contribute anything in this film.
Yeah.
Really, he's there.
Not until
He
the
has
very end.
he has a cloak that looks
The
cool.
cloak
I
is cool.
guess it
His
looks cool.
design
But
here is cool.
yeah, it is. But we don't see it a whole lot,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I just like this from the perspective of Carly, that she catches on to this thing that she's seen from the distance. And the whole time she is with Dylan, she is probing him for information very, like, specifically, but in a way that doesn't make him suspect that that is what she's doing. Because again, she is constantly being underestimated by the people around her for how smart she actually is. So she's taking in a lot of information, and that allows her to both, like, intelligently tell people where exactly the control pillar is. Like, Dylan should not have told her that, but she was smart enough to, like, know what to do with that information and who to inform. um and then, yeah, she manipulates Megatron, being like, hey, why are you here and not in charge?
Yeah, like those should be great things, but because she's a character who just comes out of nowhere, again, behind the scenes stuff, I just cannot take her
Yeah.
character all that seriously. I don't have the same respect for her character because I have not. She hasn't been on this journey with the past two films. Like
Yeah.
she talks with the Autobots as if they've been best friends for a whole long time, as if she's known them for a long time, but she hasn't.
So
Um,
here's my rewrite with her character. So if we're saying that Sam gets the job with Dylan instead of the John Malkovich character, what if the start of the movie he and Carly don't know each other? They meet each other on the job. And
I
we can
just
take
take
that even
out
further.
romance in general
Yeah.
and
Just
just
get rid
have
of
her be
that they
there.
are, yeah. Just get rid of that they are romantic partners. And I think it improves her character so much because it gives her agency. Because you can write a plot summary without Sam, you cannot write a plot summary without Carly, because of that moment between her and Megatron. You could even have, honestly, okay, here's so much better. She's working with Dylan this whole time. She knows the plan. At some point, she realizes, oh, this is actually bad. So then she could actually have an established relationship with Megatron at that point, rather than just kind of coming out of nowhere.
It's a little cliche, but sure, yes.
I mean, it is at least a little bit more functional than what we actually got.
Yeah, you're right, but we'd still complain about it.
Yeah. Oh no, we would complain about it, but I feel like it would work better for the movie overall. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Bumblebee. He's
Bumblebee.
Sam's dog, who also sometimes goes to attack Iran.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
I don't.
sad when Q dies, even though Q is not a character.
So, like, the whole thing with the military gate in Sam, like, once
Yeah.
Sam starts spouting out the names of the characters, like, they should arrest him right there because he knows too much.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, go away, person. You seem to know all this information. Go away.
Yeah.
You don't belong. They wait till, like, holy crap, there's a robot somewhere. Then they start getting serious.
uh, yeah, then Bumblebee shows up in it.
Also, he should be on a list somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, people should have,
No,
like,
yeah.
a file
Why?
where it's like,
Why?
oh, yeah, Bumblebee has this relationship with this kid.
Why doesn't Sam have a phone that is, hey, you've gotten involved in this accidentally the last 2 times this happened? Here's a phone with a number you can call in case it happens again.
Also, why is nobody keeping tabs on him?
Yeah.
In case any
Why?
Decepticons...
Why is? Why isn't
What?
he in witness protection?
I'm wondering, like, did Optimus notice the watch? on him at all.
Oh, that
You
watch plot line, it doesn't
you
go anywhere.
you'd think the scanners would pick up the watch, guys.
It doesn't serve a purpose.
No,
It
no.
has no point in the plot.
It's like there's no like if there was a whole thing of him trying to get the watch off, like sure that'd be something, but no, the watch just leaves.
Oh. Simmons, Agent Simmons, now no longer agent, ex-agent. Now
Oh my
he has
gosh.
written a book.
Re- uh,
I like that the concept for this character is in each movie he will be in a wildly different situation than last we saw him,
that is very true.
as if he were a completely new character. Like he is so different here. I like his gay butler. That was Ellen Tudyk as his gay butler. Who
Yeah.
John Turturro even asks him like, why didn't you take the opportunity to frisk Carly? He's like, I have a girlfriend. Like, oh yeah, buddy, sure. You just realize you're in a Michael Bay movie, so you can't say that out loud.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, I like Alan Tudyk, so I'm fine. Sure. Yeah.
he is fun in that role.
Like, did Simmons? He wrote a book. Did he reveal government secrets in that book?
Apparently, I don't know what the legality of that would be.
I I don't know. I don't know.
Because Sector 7 doesn't exist anymore.
It's none of it's supposed to make sense.
Not important. The important thing is that he is just like running around doing rich guy stuff. What was like the thing with the Russians in the bar?
Cause Sputnik.
Okay.
It's not important at all.
No, it
But
isn't.
yeah, that was the whole thing.
That that
was
was-
the only time where Alan Tudyk's character was important to the story.
No, because he
guess.
hacks the stuff. He
Oh,
hacks the
right.
stuff at the end.
That is correct. He's a man of many talents. That is for sure.
I think he's supposed to be like ex KGB or something.
He is supposed to be ex something because he used to be a violent individual. It seemed.
Yeah.
We never
I
get into
want a
that.
whole movie about him. I
We
want
never
a
get
whole
into
movie
that.
about
It's just
Alan Tudyk and John Turturro going around and doing their thing, and there happen to sometimes be Transformers. I will watch that movie.
Okay.
Director Meering up next. Probably
She's
of
there.
the characters that we've had that are like the insert for the US government, she's probably the best of them so far.
But by this point, I'm tired of those inserts.
Yeah.
For sure.
I give this character a lot of leeway because of Frances McDormand, who we will talk about when we get to performances. But yeah, I'm wondering if I'm feeling like having a woman writer who came in and punched up the script, if that gave this character just a little bit more dimensionality than she would have had otherwise, because she's very much that like no nonsense type that we see in these movies. They're like, you can't get in a plane, Maverick, you're too crazy. From Top Gun Maverick, but
yeah,
she is still reasonable. She is willing to be like, okay, I was wrong about this, let's move forward from this. Like, I was fully expecting a moment where like when Sentinel is like tearing through the base after she has like had this whole thing of like scolding Sam of like, you're too young for this. I was fully expecting them to have this moment of like something flies past her head and she's screaming and this is terrifying. I've never seen this before in my life. Instead, no, she like keeps her calm as much as anyone around her. Yeah. The other thing with this character, which I was just interested in, is that the whole joke is that she doesn't like people calling her ma'am. And I don't think that's about gender identity. I think that this is this trope that sometimes pops up where women in positions of power are shown to be more masculinized. And the idea is that, oh, she's forgotten she's a woman because she's in power. And yeah, that's I don't like that trope. I understand why it exists because a lot of men feel emasculated to work for a woman. And so if the woman is more masculine, then it's more, yeah, just having a feminine woman be in charge of things challenges some people's sense of self in a way that maybe they should work on. But yeah, this isn't like commenting on that trope or doing anything with that trope. It's just kind of playing it out. There's the thing with her and Simmons, which I really don't like,
No.
where he like kisses her without consent.
At least she arrests him.
Yeah.
Like, that's at least there's consequences, and they
Yeah.
just don't stick to that trope. But yeah,
I
still,
like that. I like when Simmons is flirting with her and she starts flirting with his butler. That was, I guess it's not quite flirty, but Simmons is like, "Oh, aren't you so glad I'm here? Look at what my butler was able to do." And she's like, "Thank you, butler." Don't remember what his character's name was, but just
his name
making
is
it very
Alan
clear that
Tudyk.
yes. uh, yeah, this character again. I can imagine a version of this character that works and is more of a commentary on these tropes. But as she's written, she's just kind of a slightly more, there's more dimensionality to her than there would be in another movie, but not as much as there would be in a better movie. Yeah. Then we get our returning soldiers, Epps and Lennox.
Yep.
Lennox's family nowhere to be seen.
Nope. They don't exist anymore.
I feel like this is the
I
most characterization that we have gotten from Epps.
I like Epps in this film. Like, he has something.
Yeah.
Lennox had a family
Yeah, he's like,
in the other film.
he's retired
Epps
now.
is, yeah. I mean, coming out of retirement, that's a semi cool plotline, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the American spirit right there.
Yeah. I get a little confused as to why he was like so insistent on telling Sam we have to turn back. Because that's like they just drove from Florida to Chicago, which is an active war zone. What was he expecting they would see when they got there?
I don't know. Probably not as many civilian casualties. The dust and destroyed buildings is like, oh yeah, that's too much work. I want to go. I don't know.
You just drove from Florida to Chicago. Do you know how long that takes?
I think it was like, like as soon as they showed up, air support showed up, and then they got obliterated. And it's like, oh well, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's probably
Yeah,
it.
that's
But
fair.
yeah. I mean, out
It
of
feels
context
like
like
there's
that, it is weird.
yeah. There's like 7 other characters who don't matter who could have had that moment.
It's because Sam has to be the one in charge here.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's it.
He's the leader, go getter, barbarian
Yeah.
type of guy that needs to be in
Viking.
charge.
You forgot
Yes.
Viking.
Yes. Speaking of Vikings,
Brazos, who
Brazos, yeah.
I think, is that a reference to Jeff Bezos? I feel like it has to be, but I feel like that's a bit too early for that. Anyway, what is he doing here? Like,
I feel like
all of his
it's giving
scenes
too
are
much
so
credit
good.
to Bezos.
All of his scenes are like fun, but none of them serves any purpose. Like,
I was always so confused watching his scenes because none of it has anything to do with anything.
No, it's it is that section of the movie is like a different movie. It's we do get this, and I think that this was the case with Epps, as you were saying, where like Sam has to take charge. I think there's a certain sense of like there's a fantasy of, oh, I'm braver than the soldier who's been to the war zone. Here we get the different fantasy, which is humiliating your boss. When when Brazos shows up at Sam's not Sam's, Carly's very spacious apartment, Sam is like, how long would it take for you to afford this car? She works a very nice job. She makes money. She's like, oh, it would take me 53 years. It's because you live in an apartment that can fit an Autobot inside of it.
That is a big apartment, huh?
Like,
Interesting.
help me balance my budget. I spend $100 on groceries a month. I spend $100 on car repair and stuff. I spend $100 on entertainment. I spend $3,500 on rent. Like, why does she live? Why does she have that big of an apartment? But yeah, no,
I don't know.
Bumblebee is at the apartment.
So
And then Brazos
apparently,
shows
like,
up.
so Sam meets Obama in this one. In the beginning of the film.
That scene, and they give him a line, and it's so obviously not him.
Also, like they cut from the Photoshop picture to a different actor, a completely different
Yeah,
guy playing Obama. Like,
which they did
why
with
was she
JFK as well. They had CG JFK,
right.
and then they had like.
Oh, like, also, what was Carly doing in the White House? Like, why is she working?
Oh, she
for
was
this
with the
auto
British
place?
Embassy. She was
Okay,
with the.
uh,
But then why? Okay, that must
why
be
is
like a
she with the
script addition to.
something?
We need a way for him to meet Carly. Because yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with anything else she does.
I mean, her brother is apparently like one of the soldiers we saw in the last film, but like,
No, of
who's gonna
course.
remember that random soldier that had one line in that
I
film?
remember seeing the little UK patch on his shoulder because I was specifically trying to figure out if it was a US military task force, which it was. It just happened to have people from other nations in it. Yeah, no. Brazos here is just like he's there to be funny for a few scenes and then get
All right.
humiliated by Bumblebee. But yeah, on to the villains. Sentinel,
Oh boy, Sentinel.
he's an interesting villain.
He is an interesting villain.
Like, even though we know he's wrong, I feel like we understand his perspective better than any of the other villains thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like he is committed to restoring Cybertron no matter what, even if that means betraying the side of the war that he was on. Now, I do think it starts to feel a little bit more out of character when he's talking about like, oh, we're going to enslave all of humanity.
But what do they need human slaves for, though?
Yeah, no, I have no idea. Why are they transporting the entire planet to Earth, like gravity wise? What is going on there? I don't know what the plan is. I guess
I don't
because
know what the
Cybertron
plan
isn't a
is.
dense planet because it's all these like structures. Like, I don't know. It might not be a heavy planet.
I mean, it's a planet that's been destroyed by a lot of war, so it is kind of dense. There's a lot of mines. It seems.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll find out a version of Cybertron in the film we're going to be seeing at some point that we've talked about last week, of
Yeah.
course. Yes,
Of course.
Cybertron is completely different in each different cartoon that I've seen. So, like, it's I have no way of describing what Cybertron is.
uh, Yeah. Sentinel, what do you think of Sentinel?
I think he's really cool. Um, so watching this character does appear in one of the animated shows, in a bit
Oh,
more of a
okay.
cartoony fashion, where he is like Optimus's rival. So essentially, he's like the opposite of Optimus, one who's a little
Okay.
bit cowardly, makes all the wrong decisions, uh, doesn't like humanity. Very different from the show that I watched. The only thing that really connects is that he has this like a sword and shield. That's the one thing that it's really connected. But um, I do think he's interesting. I think he's more interesting because of who plays him. But
Yes. Yeah, we'll talk about that in performances, I guess.
I wish that like there was more, because
Yeah.
his twist just kind of comes out of nowhere. Uh,
I like that. Though I had
it's
also I
it is a
remembered it
solid
from
twist. It is a
yeah.
solid twist, but it still comes out of nowhere in
Yeah.
a sense. This is so like I had no emotions for losing Jazz or really Optimus dying when those films came out. I was really bummed out when Ironhide died, because it was
Okay.
like, oh, he turned to rust and disintegrated in everything.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that that's
old.
more sad than someone getting shot and dying. It's like, oh no, there's no way to save him. Also, I couldn't even believe it while I was watching it as well. It's like, oh
Yeah.
wow, he's like a character from the first film that's dead. Wow. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. So Megatron,
Megatron.
I like what he is here. That he is like this former great leader who is now like hiding away and slowly succumbing to his wounds, and he's just like there's like bugs crawling all over him and like picking away at it, like the exposed part of his brain. Like that's just cool. But then he like still has enough left in him for one final fight.
I don't love that entirely, but I see how it could work
Yeah. I think
for
killing him off this early,
specifically Megatron, I should
yeah.
say.
I think this is a bit early to be killing him off, but yeah. I assume he
Oh,
comes back.
just we'll get to that. We'll
Yeah.
get to
And then the
that.
last villain we have here, I guess Starscream does some stuff technically.
Starscream and the other Decepticons.
Soundwave.
Soundwave, Shockwave. They
Which I
there's a lot
didn't realize that those were
there's a
two
lot of
different.
there's a lot of silver
Yeah.
in the Decepticons in this film. It's really hard to tell them apart sometimes.
And then yeah, we have Dylan, who
Damn it.
is the human that helps them out. He feels very superfluous. All of the like I like the espionage angle. All of that stuff feels superfluous by the end.
I don't care about human villains. It's like
Yeah.
I'm here for Transformers, the war of the Autobots and the Decepticons. I don't care about Dylan at all. Get him off the screen.
Well, yeah, I give
Let's
the
focus on
characters a
Sentinel.
2.5
Yeah.
out of 5.
So did I. All right, visuals.
So yeah, visuals. I I actually really the visuals worked for me here in a way that they
Okay.
haven't in the other ones. I think that the visual chaos works better when it's meant to be like cosmically terrifying. Like when it's this giant metal worm creature attacking this building and it's supposed to feel like a disaster movie. The way the visuals are like over designed and the way your mind can't quite focus on them actually like enhances the sense of like danger.
Mm-hmm.
I think it doesn't work as well when it's then like, oh, here's Optimus Prime. He's the hero. We're supposed to be following him. My eyes just kind of glaze over when it's just like two metal things that are made up of thousands of metal things hitting each other with metal things.
Yeah, I like the simplified versions, the cartoon simplified versions of the Transformers design. I think that the whole chaotic metal thing looks cool in a sense, but I prefer the original looks.
Yeah. I think this one I think does a slightly better job than the previous two of like making the action a little bit more legible. But it's still for me like again, my eyes glaze over and I can't get too invested in the action scenes. One thing I will say though is that the oversaturation is gone. This one feels a lot better colored than the last two.
But I think that there still needs to be more colors in terms of the character
Okay.
designs.
Oh, specifically with the Decepticons, yeah, I agree that there needs to be. But I'm talking specifically about like saturation levels. The blues aren't too blue, and the oranges aren't too orange. You still have like, especially the Autobots, you still can distinguish between them based on the color. This isn't like a Snyder saturation turned down thing.
I don't I don't know if I loved that about this film. I think that was the one of the things I
Okay.
subconsciously noticed is like, it looks kind of gray that I don't love.
Okay. Yeah. I really liked it. It reminded me a bit of
Hmm.
Christopher Nolan's work, specifically in The Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight is a colorful film, but it doesn't feel colorful because it does a very good job like keeping the colors grounded in the world.
I think
That's how this felt to me.
I'm pulling this out of my butt, but
Yeah.
symbolically, um, I think the muted down, toned down colors would work really well on Cybertron, this bleak landscape destroyed by war. But then once you come to Earth, there should be more color of organisms, life, and all that fun stuff. And once I guess you could say that if we go to Chicago with the destruction there, that's where you start getting the
Yeah.
bleak landscape. But everywhere else just looks the same and bleak.
I don't know. It worked for me
I
more than I was
whatever. It,
expecting it
it
to.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just think for character designs at least, give them more color.
Yeah, I agree with the character designs that especially the Decepticons just need colors to help distinguish them. But I think the like world itself around the Transformers characters looks so much better here than in the previous two. And there's just so
Yeah,
many like good shots here and
I
like
I
shot
think
compositions.
the VFX, this is the best that the robots look in the entire franchise. Like
Okay.
they look so tangible. Like the other one,
Yeah.
the other films before look great, well as well, but this is just extra extra. Except for that one shot with Sam flying in the air.
That got a little claymation looking. But
Yeah,
I think overall I think this one takes its time a bit more in terms of editing. There seem to be like longer shots and maybe a little bit more like good use of slow motion to like
sure.
slow things down and let you take in the visuals and understand the visuals before cutting to the next thing. I think like the wingsuit sequence is especially good at this. Part of it is that it mostly doesn't involve transformers, so you don't have any like over design going on. Um but yeah, it just looks really good. And yeah, it is the best looking of any of these Bay movies, in my opinion, thus far.
Yes, because after this point is really where the industry starts getting oversaturated with special effects, and so there's not as much time and budget put into it. You start to notice the seams a little bit more later on in the
Yeah.
next couple films. Um, but I still think that this is the best looking that we've gotten so far. So I give it a 4.
Yeah, and I gave it a 4. This is
Oh,
the first time
yeah,
that I am genuinely enjoying the visuals in these Bay movies.
the wingsuit sequence was really
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
A really dangerous stunt. They did that in the city.
Oh.
I don't.
Oh yeah, I was wondering that
They
because it did look like they were doing it in the city. Do do you know if they did any model work? Because I thought I saw some model work in terms of
they
like
probably
buildings.
they maybe did for reference, but I don't know. Well, I will find out when whatever that video that person's doing comes out, and we can watch then. But moving on to performances,
Yeah. Yeah, so Megan Fox isn't in this movie quite um memorably. This is
understandably,
it feels kind of like this was something, yeah, this was something that was kind of bubbling up for a bit. She and Michael Bay always had a bit of a contentious relationship. Um and according to Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, who's a producer on this and the other Transformers movies, encouraged him to fire her after she compared Michael Bay to Hitler, which it sounds like that's just kind of how she is. And that was what Bay said, is that he didn't necessarily think it was out of character for her, that she was like intentionally exaggerating things. Um, Hearing what Bay is like on set, I could understand where Megan Fox is coming from, even if she maybe took things a little bit too far with like the specific comparison. It does sound like he can be a little bit. Again, we're talking about a
much
movie in which Optimus Prime is acting unilaterally and making very strong decisions by himself, um, and being the tough leader. And it sounds like that's kind of how Bay runs his own sets. But according to Megan Fox, she left on her own terms. Um, so there is still some question about what exactly happened, but point
like
is, she's
in the next
not on the
couple years,
movie.
she did eventually become part of the Ninja Turtles film that Bay
Yeah.
produced. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Instead, we have Rosie Huntington Whitley, who, okay, when this movie came out, all of the reviews, most of the reviews were absolutely disparaged her performance. Like, this is the worst performance ever type of thing. She doesn't do
I
anything
mean,
well here.
it doesn't help that her first shot on this film is an upskirt shot from her climbing the stairs.
Yeah. And the reviews are quick to mention that. It part of it feels kind of to me like I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, it feels kind of mean mean spirited almost, how much she was dogpiled on here. um I'm looking for a review because there were a few people who came out and said no, she's actually fine, the problems with the movie are other things. And that's where
Yeah,
I land on this. I think the role is poorly written, and Michael Bay is only interested in her as the sexy lamp. And as a
hmm
result, and this is her first performance ever in a film. I think she does a really good job, all things considered. It's not like Oscar worthy work, but she was nominated for a Razzie for this, and the only reason she didn't win is because this was the year that Jack and Jill came out, which of course did a clean sweep of all of the Razzie categories. The Razzies, we've talked about them before. They have issues, especially when it comes to women. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think she does what she can with this role. I like that she's British. I thought that brought something interesting. Oh, that was what I don't remember who wrote this review, but someone was like, her British accent is unintelligible next to all of these American accents. What? That is not. You're telling on yourself, not on the movie. Uh, but yeah, her career. I did want to briefly touch on her career. Because I was reading an article from Looper written by Jane Harkness about her career because I was curious. Do you know she was in one other movie after this, and then she stopped acting? Do you happen to know what movie off the top of your head?
No, go ahead.
Mad Max Fury Road, which is a
Ah,
very
yeah,
different
that, yeah,
movie,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that one treats her character much better. Um, but I can completely understand why. If you are in two movies, the first one is Transformers Dark of the Moon, and the second one is Mad Max Fury Road, well, you may not want to make movies again.
Yeah, understandable.
And she's said in interviews that like she doesn't like being on movie sets because she doesn't like roles where she is just asked to sit and look pretty, which is exactly what she's asked to do here. And then she also prefers more collaborative movies, which yeah, Michael Bay and George Miller are not known for being the most collaborative of directors. So yeah, you could just imagine her career as an actress. She is in this movie where she has nothing to do and has a very poorly written role and is doing a lot of running around on big sets with explosions. And she's like, "Oh man, that didn't go the way I wanted. Well, I'm flying off to Namibia to film Mad Max Fury Road. Hope that goes better." It did not
Yep.
go better.
No.
it's it's like unfortunate. I don't think we like she's not a once in a generation actress in terms of talent. But it is just kind of like, oh, that's unfortunate that she never really got to prove the haters wrong. But yeah, we also have Frances McDormand joining for this one. Who do you ever get like a word or a name where like there's a pronunciation of it that just sticks in your head?
Sure.
Because I have that with Frances McDormand, who is an incredible actress, but there's an SNL sketch where Chloe
Oh,
Feynman playing her Icelandic character Uli pronounces Frances McDormand's name, and that is every time I hear Frances McDormand, my brain just goes
Francis McDormand!
Franchise McDormand.
okay.
Yeah, just wanted to dump that in there, but yeah, she just brings a lot to this role. Like this role is not well written, but she adds something to it.
Sure.
Like anyone else in this role could have easily, and I don't think she's like bringing her A game here, but she isn't phoning it in either. Yeah. We also have new cast members, Patrick Dempsey, who is just very well cast as like
Who's
he's Dylan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like he just has that kind of face that is like too attractive for you to trust. And then of course John Malkovich, just so
Hmm.
much fun. I love it whenever he shows up in something. Like he has such a distinct voice and energy. Yeah.
He does, and also distinct voices. We have Leonard Nimoy.
Yes, who is so good.
Yes, just very unique voice. He's one of those. He's one of those people that have like. There's no one else that has that voice that sounds just like him. It's like we got
Yeah.
him, Morgan Freeman.
John Malkovich.
I guess yeah, John Malkovich, Willem Dafoe.
Yep. Uh yeah, no. He is phenomenal here. He
Yes,
brings a lot of pathos to Sentinel
yes.
and is like
Also,
the
like great
reason
to
that you
have
trust Sentinel at first.
like that's a callback to the '80s film.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave the performances a 4 out of 5. I think these are pretty good performances. Obviously we didn't talk about the returning actors because I don't think there's a ton to say, but
Right.
all of the new
It's about the
actors
same.
bring something to the table. Especially, yeah, I love seeing Francis McDormand here. I love seeing John Malkovich and Leonard Nimoy. Them being here makes me enjoy the movie more than I would have if they weren't here.
And Alan Tudyk.
Oh yeah, I didn't add him to my list. He is also phenomenal in a very small role. So yeah.
Yes. Yes. I gave the performances a 3, same as the other films. I didn't have the same elevation as you did.
I don't think you're as big into like Francis McDormand as I am.
Sure, yeah. True.
But yeah.
All
Last up
right.
we have sound. The score started playing and I went, "Oh, I recognize this. Why do I
Mm.
recognize this?" And then it kept playing and I was like, "Wait, this is just the soundtrack for The Dark Knight."
This is yeah. Uh,
It's
this is
it's different
unfortunately
enough.
during that time period where everybody was using Inception for temp music in the editing bay, and then just had someone do the music. Like there is some good solid music in here when it's not being temp music. Usually that's just replaying the songs from the past films.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, this is very Dark Knight, very Inception. It sounds good,
Right, yeah.
but it's not
You can tell.
original to this movie. Yeah. So, yeah, I can't really give it credit for that. So I gave the sound a 2 out of 5, mainly for the that is like 2 stars for the sound effects and that kind of stuff. Because I feel kind of
Right.
bad giving it any stars for a soundtrack that it isn't really its own thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
think this is legally plagiarism, but it is very, very derivative.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5 because typically the third act has some really strong music. And again, when you listen to it closely versus watching it in the film, it's slightly different. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
but
that leaves me
whatever.
with a final score of 15 out of 25, which is a 60% or a 3 on our 5-star scale.
And I have a 15.8, which is a 63.2% or a 3.165 star rating. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
done with the
We're
Shia
done with
LaBeouf
the original
Bay.
trilogy LaBeouf films.
Yeah,
Hooray! And
don't
then
have to see
they
him again.
announced more films
Yeah, this is
with
I
very
how
mixed
many
reception.
how many examples are there of an actor leaving a franchise, but the director staying on board for 2 more movies?
Um,
I guess it's also relatively uncommon for directors to do 5 movies in one franchise.
true, unless you're Peter Jackson
Yeah.
or yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
George Miller, and he did actually stick around while cast members got swapped out. But yeah, kind of an interesting outlier there.
I'm sure there's some other examples. I just don't remember up the top of my head.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review and go join our Patreon at patreon.com/bitchingbarbie-podcast. Anyway, in celebration of finally covering our 100th movie, wow, next episode we'll be taking all the scores that we have been giving out these past couple years and making a giant list ranking of all of them. That's going to
It's
be
going to be
interesting.
chaos.
It's going to be chaos. It's going to be fun. It's going to be tiresome. But after that, we're going to be hopping over to the Transformers adjacent film, Battleship. Yay, more Hasbro films.
Yeah, we didn't want to, because this is one that feels like we need to cover at some point, but it's
Yeah,
so tied to these Bay movies that it's kind of like, why don't we just throw it in here?
sure, why not? Get it out of the way. Doesn't need to be
Yeah.
special. Yes. Anyway, until then, remember, respect is more important than exotic melt. Autobots, roll out!